everyone. It is Thursday evening. It's weather for Weather Geeks time. And before we get to our topsy-turvy forecast, a little weather news today. You may have seen, if you were poking around on Twitter or Facebook and you follow some weather accounts, the National Weather Service is going to phase out some products in a couple of years in 2024. Anything that has an advisory label on it now is going to go away in a couple of years. So winter weather advisories, wind advisories, things like that. Things will be simplified. The National Weather Service in recent years has been all about simplification of products, because the number of products, watches, warnings, advisories, statements, etc., that the Weather Service traditionally issues is pretty enormous. And some of these products can be confusing to the public. So an effort is underway to eliminate some of those products, and so you're going to see things that are pretty common around here, like winter weather advisories, go away by 2024 and be replaced by some statements, or they'll just go straight to a winter storm watch or a winter storm warning, depending on the situation. We'll talk more about that, of course, over the next couple of years before this gets implemented in 2024. All right, on to the weather. Of course, it's been a big-time roller coaster ride over the last few days. After peaking in the mid to upper 50s yesterday, temperatures today flatlined in the upper 20s to around 30. It was a much different day as promised today. As I said on social media last evening, the weather today downright disrespectful after our little pop of spring yesterday. March has a reputation as a volatile month temperature-wise, and first 4 days have certainly seen that come to fruition. 55 the high Monday. Now that was an early morning high. And same idea today. That 35 was an early morning high temperature. But yeah, back and forth all week long. Now, it'll be a little more consistent temperature-wise over the next few days before warmer air settles in for next week. Time-lapse video from today, not much to see here. Slate gray overcast, stratocumulus clouds, pretty typical of a northerly flow in the cold weather season. You see these stratocumulus clouds as a result of the moisture being picked up off the Great Lakes, and they deposited a few flurries out there today. It's cold outside, but it was a lot colder on this date 7 years ago. 5 below zero was the record low established on this date in 2014. This actually smashed the old record low, which was something like 4 or 5 above. We beat the record low by like 9 degrees on this date back in 2014. That's a pretty cold record low for early in March. All right, some flurries stuck around for much of the afternoon today. Of course, this was of no consequence. This stuck to nothing, basically, but it was just a reminder that it's still astronomical winter anyway. We're still in early March. It can still snow a little bit at this time of the year. All right, infrared satellite, our clearing is taking place quickly. The brighter whites are the clouds. When we have a cold night and a clear sky, the satellite shows these kind of gray colors picking up on the cold ground. It's not clouds, but the cold ground. So you got to look a little bit carefully at these satellite pictures sometimes. But the brighter whites are the clouds, and those are pushing away from north to south fairly quickly this evening. Last evening's national radar and satellite was pretty quiet. Now, we do have a storm that's come out of the Four Corners region. It's heading into the high plains, and this is producing rain and high elevation snow. And it's actually pretty vivid to see this on the water vapor imagery in places such as Colorado and Kansas and Nebraska. Pretty potent upper low. If this was occurring in May, this would probably lead to a big-time severe weather outbreak across the middle of the country. We're still in early March, and while you can see big severe weather outbreaks at this time of the year, the ingredients just aren't quite there. Lack of moisture with this system, so the severe weather threat is overall pretty marginal. All right, our forecast for Friday is better. It's going to look better outside, but it's still going to be pretty chilly. Finger of clouds around perhaps at the start of the day, but generally I think fairly sunny afternoon and evening. Now, as we head towards Saturday morning, little Lake Huron band may pick up some moisture off of Erie, and there may be some lake effect flurries and snow showers in Crawford County, PA, Erie County, PA, maybe a couple of flurries getting down maybe into parts of Trumbull and especially Mercer counties, but no big deal. I think the afternoon will be fairly sunny on Saturday, and as high pressure continues to meander around the lower Ohio River Valley, our weather continues to be fairly benign, I think, on Sunday, albeit fairly chilly. Early March football at the Ice Castle, YSU taking on Southern Illinois at noon, and the Penguin game day forecast for Saturday is a quiet one with an increase in sunshine, a chilly breeze out of the northwest. But you'll need the sunglasses if you're outdoors on Saturday. Same idea Sunday. Jacket weather, sunglasses weather. Looks nice outside, but it'd be nice if it were a little bit warmer. But it's going to get a little bit warmer. In fact, it's going to get a lot warmer next week. 51 on Monday, big jump on Monday. Just beautiful early spring days, meteorological spring anyway. Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday is when things really peak in the mid-60s. Fantastic. We'll be in the lower 60s, I think, on Thursday. And we might see some raindrops as early as Thursday, but I think the rain's a little more likely Thursday night into Friday. That's our next cold front. That's the front that's going to usher in a chillier pattern. I told you last evening on this video that the 8 to 14 day outlook would start changing over the next couple of days, and you see much less deep oranges and reds on this, and this is evidence that some of this cooler air is coming east. Now, is this going to be a pattern like we had in February? No. I mentioned on Twitter earlier on something called the MJO, the Madden-Julian Oscillation. It's an oscillation out in the tropical Pacific. It's going to go into phases that are favorable for chillier weather in the eastern U.S. So you get convection, or thunderstorm activity, in other words, in a certain part of the tropical Pacific. That causes a chain reaction downstream that typically leads to warmer weather starting to gain a foothold out west and cooler weather in the east. And we're starting to see quite a bit of model consensus on that taking shape as we head into mid-month. So the 60s that we're going to see during midweek might be the last 60s we're going to see for some time. So a little pop of spring once again midweek, but then we're going to start to see the pattern changing. How long does that pattern change last? At least a week, it looks like. The jury's still out on late March, but confidence is increasing that mid-March from around, the 13th, 14th, through maybe the 20th or so, that's a week that will feature some below-average temperatures. That's it for me tonight. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks. Have a great rest of your Thursday night, and I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11.